So, Doug, I know Dr. Matt Bosom does an outstanding job, but my goodness, I mean, you've been working him overtime this year. I mean, I guess I didn't realize, but going into week 6, you're really without 5 guys who would be starting for your varsity football team.
Yeah, guys that were in the summer, 2 guys that were in starting positions. Corner and Wyatt Postal, and Aiden McKenna, a right tackle. Those guys both got hurt in the summer, and then we got into the season and lost 3 of our captains there, Maddox Arnold and Georgie Godoy at linebacker, and Braden Bowen as a tight end. So we've taken some serious hits.
Yeah, now how have you managed? I mean, you're 4-1 against a pretty decent schedule. A big win this past week against Louisville St. X. Is it I know the old coach cliche, but is it next man up?
Well, it has to be. That's not something we fail. But it's I talk more about the opportunity. It's an opportunity for some other guys now to get in and see what you can do and what can you do with your chance to play. And we've had some young guys. We're playing 4 sophomores. So we've got young guys that are playing. We've got seniors that have stepped in. We've just got guys that want to play and they're doing what they're coached to do.
Through 5 games, talk a little bit about your offense. Mention some of the guys. I know you've got some diversity on offense, but you've done pretty well on offense.
We've been okay on offense. Yeah, we were striving to get better there. We've got a sophomore quarterback. Caden Eastep, who I think is working his way into. I think he's going to end up being one of the better ones we've ever had. To be honest with you, he's got a chance. He throws the ball like nobody that I've ever coached. And so wide receivers and Christopher Paff and Joey Thaman does a lot for us, running the ball. He's leading the league in rushing, but he's probably second or third in receiving, and so I think Christopher's first. I think, and so we're doing some things. Our offensive line is just young. We've got a sophomore, 3 juniors. Not one of the guys that is playing one of the 5 offensive line positions played in a game last year. So it's a lot of learning for those guys, but I think we're coming along pretty well.
Now, when I look at the GCL statistics on defense, you're all over that. I mean, you've got 3 of the leading 5 tacklers. You've got Uran as the sack leader. I mean, talk about your defense because they've been pretty darn solid.
Our defense has been really good. Again, we're playing a lot of guys. We're rotating 6 or 7 guys in the 3 D-line positions. Even though we've lost to two of the better linebackers in the league, we've got guys that they're stepping up. You mentioned Derek Uran, and Derek's played exceptionally well for us, making plays all over the place. Just a great athlete. He's one of the better athletes I think that we've had here since I've been around. And secondary wise, I think that's the spot. We don't give up big plays. Cooper Sandus and Eli Roden back at safeties, we're not getting balls thrown over our head. And we've been really good at tackling. And that's got to continue here, in the next couple of weeks. But I think that's the thing that's carried us is our defense.
League opener for you, obviously St. X played last week and lost to Moeller. And this last year was a crazy game over at St. X. You guys wind up winning 32-31. You decide to forego potential tie, go for the win. Now, obviously Ryan Brass did a lot in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great rivalry game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is one of those games every year. I mean, it's easy for the Crosstown Showdown to go, oh, Elder X. I mean, it's that kind of game, isn't it?
It is that kind of game. It is. It's a special game, and that's one thing we'll talk about here, today, just the opportunity to play in this game. And then I think playing here at home makes it that much, more. It's going to be, we were watching a little bit of film, a couple of things, from a couple of years ago, and just seeing that you could just see on film that was electric in here. That it's the one game. I am going to get on our fans. We've been a little bit quiet this year. It's the one game for sure, though, that our fans will be jacked up for.
Well, I want to ask you about that because you're old. I'm old. We're all old. You've been here a long time. And people talk about, man, if you've never been to the pit, you got to get to the pit. Do you take for granted what it's like on Friday nights here? I mean, because you've seen so many games. And I mean, because this has to be one, if not the coolest around here, it has to be one of the coolest atmospheres.
I personally do not. Just because walking in a stadium every time on a Friday night, it's just special. It is. It's a unique setting. There's not there. I can't imagine too many places in America having this, surrounded by the houses and dug in down into the hole and having the seating that we have here and all those kinds of things. And then, you come in and the grills are gone, and it's just a really unique and it's just an awesome place to play.
You want fans to help you because St. X is pretty darn good. I mean, I know they got 2 losses. They lost a close one week 1 at Lakota West, lost to Moeller. Chase Herbstreit seems like he's where the offense is different. It seems like it's maybe a little simplified. He's running the ball a little more, but they've got, and I know last year against you guys, Vollmer had just a ridiculous number of yards in that game. But they've got some talent on offense, and they've been pretty solid on defense, too.
Oh, no doubt about it. They're really good. And I think that's the thing that's helped them so much this year is that Chase Herbstreit has become a really good runner. And that was the thing last week. They were getting beat pretty bad, and all of a sudden the second half, he starts running around and making plays, and then you watch the end of the game, and they're down 8, and they're driving the field with a chance to try to tie the game up. So he's really made a big jump in that part of his game, and again, they're big up front on the line, and they they got tight ends. They've got a lot of good players, and then defensively they're St. X on defense. They run around really well, and they're disciplined, and they tackle, and they do all the things necessary to be a good defense.
Many more years for you and Steve. You're going to have to get chairs on the sideline to take a seat, right? So but I mean, that's part of it too. You guys have coached against each other. You have a lot of respect for one another. I mean,
and that's what makes it even. It is. It's because it's different. Not to be critical, but there's been a lot of coaches at Moeller the last few years, and with turnover and LaSalle, Pat's kind of slowed that down a little bit, but is when you've coached against somebody for 20-some years, it does make it that much more of a of a rivalry,
And you're still the only school that's been in the you're 27. You've been here all 27. Elder's been here. I mean, we couldn't have a showdown without Elder. And that's why we're here Friday.
All right, sounds good.